Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.
Welcome to Peter and Roughie's football show, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. Welcome along to the show. We're delighted that you can support us on a daily basis on Peter and Roughie's football show. In the studio tonight on this Thursday, Alan Rough, Tam Cowan and Hugh MacDonald are here with me. I wonder what we'll be talking about. Rangers lose to Hamilton Accies at Ibrox. That's the second time in 94 years. Over and above that, Celtic are held to a 2-2 draw at Livingston. In the end, Neil Lennon's side gain a point on Rangers. They're now 13 points clear at the top of the table. It's not good enough for quite a number of Rangers fans, but I wonder if the tide is turning or they're going to stick by him, Hugh.
My view is it's done. It's over. It's only a matter of timing now. And I think if we're talking about Gerrard leaving, it's only a matter of timing and the machinations behind that, how it is affected. And I think it'll happen in the summer, where there'll be a mutually agreed departure.
Depending on things that happen over the course of the next couple of weeks, I would contest that it might happen a wee bit sooner. You've got two tough games against Bayer Leverkusen, Roughie, and then you've got, of course, that game at Ibrox against Celtic, and not forgetting the trip up to Ross County.
Yeah, well, I think he's backed himself into about a corner, coming out and saying, I don't walk away from anything. You know, that's definitely going to be held against him if he does walk away. I don't think it would be during the season. I think it would be at the end of the season when discussions will be made how and where they're going to go next year. And if the board don't come up with the right answers, then I think he's got an avenue to say, well, wait a wee minute, I can't help you here, I need to move on.
Well, when you look at the evidence over the course of the season, Rangers under Gerrard this season are going backwards. They're 13 points behind Celtic in the league. Since that now meaningless victory over Celtic at Celtic Park on December 29th, they've lost 3, they've drawn 2, and of the 3 they've lost 2 of them to the bottom place side and the second bottom place side in the Scottish Premiership. They've been knocked out of the Scottish Cup by the bottom place side in the Scottish Premiership. That is Hearts, of course. They've had a captain, James Tavernier, who's basically said that they don't have the mental strength. They've got a £7 million signing who reckons they play better when they're the underdogs. And over and above that, you've got a star striker, scored 29 goals up to December in the first half of the season and has scored once since. He was dropped by the manager for being late for training. There's allegations of a fallout with the players, and of course, over and above that, possibly a suggestion that he's overweight. I'm talking, of course, about Alfredo Morelos. On the evidence of last night, you've got a defence that can't defend, a midfield that can't supply, and a striker that can't score. It's not good enough for Rangers fans.
Absolutely not, and it's the worst thing for Rangers fans is that, as we as football fans in general know, it's the hope that kills you. And I think there was a great feeling when everybody trooped off to Dubai that this could, certainly amongst Rangers fans, this could be the year. And what's happened since has been a dramatic implosion.
Tam, I don't know about you, but you know, for some Rangers fans, and I'm not saying all of them, some Rangers fans standing up and applauding Steven Gerrard in the 8th minute because he wore number 8 for Liverpool, applauding him. I just thought it was embarrassing because there are Rangers fans out there who want to see a winning team, and the players that he's signed over the 2 seasons and he's been backed with are letting him down.
Well, what I would like to know, and it'd require a wee bit of honesty here, and they need to hold their hands up. How many of the guys that stood applauding him in the 8th minute also booed the team booed Gerrard at the end and indeed maybe left early. You know, fans are very fickle, we all know that, and in fact if Rangers could somehow pull a result out of the hat against Bayer Leverkusen, let's remember nobody gave them an earthly against Braga.
Yeah.
You know, the same Braga team that I thought wonderful in the first half at Ibrox, played Rangers off the park. It sounded like 72% possession in that first half, but Rangers ultimately cruised through, you could say, you know, and they could have scored more. So it's going to be very interesting, an interesting dynamic. I mean, if you want to be quite ludicrous about it, and if everybody thinks that Gerrard's going to leave at the end of the season, has a club ever punted a manager who had just got his hands on a European trophy? Let's look at it that way.
Yeah, I mean, the evidence was there for all to see. Our reporter Gabriel Antoniazzi sums up that nightmare at Ibrox last night.
Wednesday the 4th of March, is that the day that the title finally became out of Rangers' reach? Well, last night they were beaten here by bottom of the league Hamilton 1-0 to drop 13 points behind leaders Celtic, which led to a toxic atmosphere at the full-time whistle, thousands of boos, and it meant manager Steven Gerrard claimed it was his lowest point yet.
But again, mistake is going to cost us, and that's where the 3 points have gone. I didn't think I could be more disappointed than after I was after Hearts, but here I am, even more disappointed than I was a few days ago.
The Gerrards had 31 shots last night but didn't score any of them, whilst David Moyo capitalised on another error at the back to give the Ackies all 3 points. Now, the result may have shocked the entire footballing nation, but not manager Brian Rice.
But no, I'm absolutely delighted. You know, I think it shocked everyone, apart from myself, because I always believe, you know, you put a team out to try and win the game. You know, and I'm not going to say I thought we'd win 1-0. I would never be stupid enough to say that, but I think if you got enough belief in your team and you set them out properly, then you've got a chance of winning.
So Rangers have only won half of their domestic games this year. A star striker, Alfredo Morelos, hasn't scored in the league since Boxing Day. And whilst Gerrard has said he will stay and he's refused to give anything up, it's tough times here at Ibrox. The question is, will the fans begin to turn on the manager?
Well, Roughie, you're one of those guys that thinks that Rangers board's not strong enough to sack him. So they've got a big dilemma now. Do they back him with even more cash? Where they find it from is the big question. Or do they come to a decision to somehow, as Hugh suggested earlier, get him out the door?
Well, that's one of the debates they're going to have, but I don't think it'll be during the season. I think it'll be end of season when these things materialise. Do I think the support will turn on him? I don't. I think they'll turn on the players easier. I think he's got some kind of credence that they wouldn't. Some of them will say, well, we're better when we were. We've got better players. They're certainly not anywhere near a Celtic. So fans being fans, you know, we'll look at the 2 European games coming up. And I know you will say to me it looks a bit silly. They'll look at the 2 Celtic games as well. If they were to beat Celtic twice, some supporters would go away and go, well, that's okay.
Yeah, Hugh, when Rangers were winning 9 in a row, Celtic occasionally managed to defeat them. But if anything, it was just a bloody nose. It wasn't anything serious. Rangers still went on to win with better players.
Yeah, and most of us looking at it at that time were pretty, pretty certain of what was going to happen in any long run. I mean, we can all remember, for example, like Joe Miller inflicting a very bloody nose in a treble chase in Rangers team at Hampden when he scores there. But these were little dots in what was a different picture completely, you know.
Yeah. Where I'd be really worried now, Hugh, if I was a Rangers fan, is looking at next season. Because the bottom line is Celtic will be like a dog with a bone when it comes to 10 in a row, right? Yeah. And they do, of course, have the resources there. Yep. And as much as everybody still, even now, makes jokes about the biscuit tin mentality and that, albeit a different era, the bottom line is that when Celtic really had to spend money, Brendan Rodgers, when he thought we need a real manager to come in here now, we need to fix this. They paid an arm and a leg to bring him in. If Rangers were somehow able to improve over the summer, if Rangers were somehow, if they did go for another manager and it turns out they picked a gem, if they did find more investment for the club, you did just get the feeling, and that's what I'm saying, I'd be worried if I was a Rangers fan, you did get the feeling that Celtic would ramp it up a wee bit because of the resources that they have been able to gather ever since Rangers imploded.
Yeah, well, Andy Halliday is a Rangers fan, he's a Rangers player. He was rolled out last night at a difficult time after the defeat, but he, I think, sums up what many of the fans feel. That's the lowest point last night.
It's probably one of the lowest since I've been here, and I've had my fair share of low moments since I've been at a football club. But I think it's especially more difficult when we put ourselves in obviously a good position at the turn of the winter break, and for it to fall apart very quickly is obviously very bitterly disappointing.
Yeah, we can't forget also, I think we've got to praise, Hugh, Hamilton, their exploits at the end of this is 3 points. When we just keep writing them off, suddenly they keep saying, no, we're going to try and stay in this Premiership.
And 3 points for Hamilton any time this season is time to get the bunting out. 3 points at Ibrox any time in their history is a time to get a bunting out, but it could never have been a better time than last night. Hearts, beat their rivals comfortably, look to be bouncing fully back. Hamilton on the bottom of the league, and then everybody's saying, well, this is the season they're definitely going down, and they get those 3 points. Absolutely huge, and the way they got them with really good, dedicated, disciplined performance, I'll do wonders for them.
And having to play on that grass pitch.
That's another thing. And I'll tell you, anybody who scores a goal, especially a winning goal against either Rangers or Celtic, always remembers it, and it's a day that David Mayo will never forget.
Got to be at the top, at the very top. Obviously, I've never played here before, so great experience for me. And luckily, we got the 3 points. No, I'm pretty sure if you watch the celebration, I didn't really know what to do with myself. But it took ages to go in as well, but just luckily it's got in.
Yeah, the ball's gone into the back of the net and it secures all 3 points. Meanwhile, at Livingston, Celtic had their own problems, but I don't think even in his wildest dreams Neil Lennon thought he was going to gain a point after a late equaliser in a 2-2 draw, Roughie.
No, again, Livingston showed at home, the tactics they use. Obviously, one of the goals came from a really long throw-in, but they battled it out and they got an equaliser late on in the game. And obviously, when they heard what was happening over at Ibrox, that's a bonus. You talk up the team for the never say die attitude, and again it comes up good.
You talk about long throw-ins. Do you remember what Stephen Cragen's stock in trade used to be at Motherwell? Do you remember him taking the throw-ins? And I think they had a word with the authorities and he said, no, you can't do that anymore. Do you remember? They used to open the wee gate.
Oh, that's right, they did, aye.
And
he would go, he would go up to the cross.
Aye, and he would go up some of the steps, open the gate, and then he'd been there with the fans, and then he'd run and launch it. Yeah. And I'm sure some civil servant somewhere, probably looked at the rule book, and then got into the SFA, and he was barbed for doing that.
I forgot about that.
And to be fair, Livingston, you know what you get. I think we do them a disservice sometimes, suggesting their long ball. Yes, they play to their strengths. They can play a bit of football as well. If anything, the opening goal's down to defensive errors, including the goalkeeper.
Goalie, there's no foul there. That was a cry for help. If anybody's saying, let's blow that up for a fella. The guy just jumped straight up in the air. I thought Livingston as well, in the middle of the park when they had to, they've got guys like Lawless and Sibbald and Robinson, who are good football players. I thought their back three was outstanding. But one of the things going forward is, I hope somebody's talking to Lyndon Dykes today, because apparently he's talking to Rennie Mullenstein, the Australian number 2, who's going to try and get him for national duty for Australia.
Is he not chosen yet?
He's not chosen yet, and I hope somebody's saying to the SFA said, see, after you finish with it, can you come in for a pot of tea at Hampden? Because I really rate this guy. I think this guy is a more than decent alternative to what we've got up front.
Yeah, and again, it's a different style again, Roughie. If you're throwing Lawrence Shanklin into it for his goals, maybe you could throw Lyndon Dykes into it for his physicality. Certainly, two strikers up front, one that can feed off him would be great.
Yeah, well, he's twice the player he was last year with Queen of the South. He was very, very good. He caused us all sorts of problems. It's very noticeable since he's left Queen of the South that Dobie's not scoring any goals. Because Dykes was the foil for him. He did all the donkey work, the chasing and headers, right onto his path. So yeah, again, it's the old question, coming up another step in the ladder, of can he do it? The same as we're talking about Shanklin, same as we're talking about Billy Gilmore. But again, I think we're at the stage now, we have to take chances. We have to say, hey, on you go, son, show us what you can do.
he ragdolled a £7 million centre half last night, and he's done it before with him. And I think Julian's a good centre half, Peter. I mean, I think he's got flaws, don't get me wrong, but I think he's been a very important player for Celtic this year. And you know, you've got to remember, international football, the level that Julian's at, Dykes will not be playing against guys at the high level all the time. He will, you know, well, at other times. But when he's playing against Israel and things like that, he's not going to be playing against a Julian.
I mean, with Lyndon Dykes, if he does choose Scotland, the Israel game, there's still speculation it could be played behind closed doors.
Right.
In terms of a player feeling comfortable in that environment, a Livy player. You know, he's virtually playing in that atmosphere.
He knows the atmosphere.
Absolutely. You're a bad man, Tam, let me tell you.
Him banging them in for Albion Rovers, isn't it?
Listen, one of the things I was going to say to you, let's not forget we've got a chance, and still a chance just before, probably this is your last chance to try and take part in our competition, to try and get you and a friend to join us at the Etihad. Coming up, it's Manchester City against Real Madrid.
We are off to the Etihad for Manchester City versus Real Madrid, and you and a friend could be joining us by entering our fabulous competition.
We're going to the Champions League. Are you coming? It's luxury travel to Manchester City, Real Madrid. It's tickets to the game and a couple of special guests to keep you company.
You and a friend could be joining us if you enter this fabulous competition.
To be in with a chance of winning, just answer this simple question.
Name Manchester City's all-time top goal scorer. Is it A, Sergio Aguero, B, Raheem Sterling, C, Kevin De Bruyne? Submit your answer below and you and a friend could be on your way with our special guests to Manchester City versus Real Madrid in the Champions League. Enter now and good luck.
Yeah, what a good competition that is, and you and a friend could be going with some very special people.
Don't know what a friend is, man.
Hand in your entries.
That's what he tries to beat Tam's got.
I hope it's two dark stalkers that want to absolutely take you two down for years. That would be great.
Thanks for that, Tam. Listen, we're going to talk quickly about
advertising executive at STV2. Still got it in for you for closing the station.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. I'm not going to say anything. Anyway, what I will mention to you is Tam's old side managed a win by 4-1. Good going.
Yeah, excellent. And wee Alan Campbell get his first ever double. And yeah, again, let's be brutally frank here. If Alan Campbell, his sort of player at his age, making that sort of impact, if he did it, particularly as a young Scottish guy at Celtic or Rangers, it'd be 4-page bullets and all the papers. So I think it's only fair to flag him up. He's in a good bit of form now, and I can't wait to see what he's like as well. He didn't get off the bench last night. They're going to be very, very careful with him. But when he gets 100% David Turnbull back in there next to him, I think he'll benefit. Alan Campbell in there fighting about getting the balls for him. Remind me a wee bit the two of them together, and the two of them left Mallow at the same time. These two chaps, Ali Mauchline and Gary McAllister, who both went at the same time. And it's a bit similar. Turnbull is the McAllister guy. Alan Campbell is a wee fighter like Ali Mauchline, and I would predict as well big things for this pair.
Yeah, high praise indeed. Of course, aided and abetted by Kilmarnock's 2-2 draw against Aberdeen, with another guy, Eamon Brophy, looking as if he's just nodding to Steve Clarke, don't forget me.
Yeah, I think he'll be in the squad, but again, it's another penalty controversy, and that handball thing really baffles me. You know, I don't think the player actually turned his back. You know, I don't mind if it's a ball going towards the net and somebody sticks their hand up, fair enough.
He was how far away from it, and the ball was battered. The guy had no chance.
Absolutely. St Johnstone and St Mirren fought out a 0-0 draw elsewhere. Could be good news for Scotland if Kieran Tierney's back training. It would be lovely to have him back in time.
It would be, but I've got all this, I'm like this, the dark Caledonian soul. I always think that when people are talking about the performances of Billy Gilmore this week, who was excellent for Chelsea, and Kieran Tierney came on, you just say, one of them was a centre half. You know, it's good news for Kieran getting back as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget, Hugh, if you want to finish any sentence without Roughie talking, we can do that after.
No, I was just waiting, and Tam just throwing his...
chuck in Declan Gallagher. As much as you talked about for that earlier in the season, the bottom line was, We knew how good Declan Gallagher was when he was out the team. Boy, did we miss him. And see, when he's come back, he's your man for Scotland. No harm whatsoever to Scott McKenna, who I know is now injured and not going to reappear the next year. He's better than Scott McKenna.
Okay, just to finish, just a quick one here, and this is something that's affecting everything right across all sports, and of course the community, the UK as a whole, and of course right across the globe. And I'm talking, of course, about the coronavirus. The SFA and the SPFL have released statements on it. Ian Maxwell from the SFA, together with our colleagues at the SPFL, we have written to our members to underline that we will do everything possible to complete fixtures whilst taking fully on board the government's expert advice and the guidance of our medical consultant, Dr. John McLean. We have also advised our clubs of the absolute necessity of following hygiene best practice at stadiums, training grounds and other premises, as well as providing information to staff, fans, contractors, broadcasters and other media entering club premises. Hugh, it's a big worry. It could have financial implications if this escalates.
That was the second panel who came out with that statement. No, the first one, you know, it's fine. Not to worry about it. Sneeze away, don't wash your hands. But they were replaced just in time, thankfully. It's going to be rife in Manchester, I hear.
That's right. Travel advice for the Real Madrid game. You and I have been advising not to travel.
Right. Don't just get a nice wee curry that night. Right.
Absolutely. It's good to know that nobody really has a chip on their shoulder about that big trip. Champions League. Anyway, good luck with the competition to Hugh and Tam. Apart from anything else.
Can you take part?
Oh, you can, by the way. I want to just highlight to everyone, if you can hear it over other voices, social media, you can get us on Twitter where there's no voices. You can get us on, of course, our Facebook Live, which is growing day by day. Thank you to everyone for sharing the stream as well and following us on Facebook Live Monday to Friday. And of course our YouTube channel. It's going great guns. More and more people joining the football family. Thanks for watching this show and also for joining us for the podcast. It's been great getting the responses for John Gagan, last week's guest, which was absolutely superb. This week's guest tomorrow morning is a Partick Thistle legend in Chris Doolan, and he really is not only a top goal scorer, Roughie, but some good memories and good chat from him.
Yeah, it's good. I always think it's good to have players on, and the fans don't get really to know who and what the players are about. I think that's what the podcast is. They come on the show and they just love answering questions.
And the very fact you can hear them all, they're all still there. If you hadn't heard this one, even as a PLZ guy himself, I think my favourite still, as much as I enjoy Johnny Gagan, one of my original heroes at Motherwell, and I've had a great reaction to this one. Andy Cameron was brilliant. Andy Cameron was absolutely great. What a laugh.
Yeah, it was top drawer actually.
His language was shocking though.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not often I blush.
No. Yeah. And on that note, thanks very much to Roughie, thanks to Tam Cowan, thanks to Hugh MacDonald, from myself, Peter Martin. Thank you for watching.
Expect the best used car deals guaranteed. Visit arnoldclark.com.